Hello friends, this is Dr. Banerjee from History Series. The topic is Imperialism and Colonialism. This is an important topic of the world history. Imperialism, the policy of stronger nation in which it attempts to create an empire by dominating weaker nations economically, politically, culturally, and militarily. Types of imperialism. First, colony. A country or a region governed internally by a foreign power. For example, Somaliland in East Africa was a French colony. Protectorate, a country or territory with its own internal government but under the control of an outside power. For example, Britain established a protectorate over the Niger River Delta. Sphere of influence, an area in which an outside power claims exclusive investment or trading privileges. Liberia was under the sphere of influence of the United States. The fourth type of imperialism is economic imperialism. Independent but less developed nations controlled by private business interests rather than by other governments. For example, the Dole Fruit Company controlled pineapple trade in Hawaii. So here is the question for thought. What things might make a person or group want to take control of others? Now we can proceed with the question, how did imperialism begin? Economic motives. The Industrial Revolution began in Great Britain in the mid-18th century. I had already discussed about the Industrial Revolution in my previous video. Economic nationalism is an outcome of Industrial Revolution. Britain's advantages, the spread of industrialization, these all are to obtain raw materials, natural resources to produce goods, a cheap labor supply, to get the native people to purchase European goods and services. New marketplaces for manufactured goods, and last but not the least, the motive behind the imperialism is to make money. Some political motives behind imperialism: to claim land for the mother country, that is nationalism, extreme pride in their country led them to want more power, to make sure their country had more resources than other countries and to control another country's government. British cartoon The Rhodes Colossus, showing Cecil Rhodes' vision of making Africa all British from Cape to Cairo, 1892. This is political motive, that is the desire to control African territory, desire to boost national pride, and to gain power by winning colonies, desired to have military presence. Cecil Rhodes, the British imperialist who made huge profits from Africa's natural resources. He was the founder of the state of Rhodesia in Africa. Exploratory motives: to locate indigenous people, to map new territory, to identify natural resources like animals, plants, coal, etc. Exploratory motives are nothing but the interest in unexplored territories, mapping geographic features of Africa, and the thought behind these exploratory motives are known as the mapping the dark continent of David Livingstone. Here are some ideological motives behind imperialism. One famous ideological motive was the white man's burden. That is nothing but the racism to improve non-Europeans' way of life. A desire to civilize non-Europeans also spurred the development of imperialism. To make others more like Europeans, to make them adopt a European perspective. Europeans viewed anyone with different religion and life as backwards. Europeans felt it was their duty to civilize the backwards people of the world, and this was an attempt to justify imperialism. Social Darwinism. Charles Darwin's ideas on evolution and the survival of the fittest was applied to social change and situations. Those who were fittest enjoyed wealth and success and were superior to others. Social Darwinism, the theory that human groups and races are subject to the same laws of natural selection as Charles Darwin perceived in plants and animals in nature, according to the theory which was popular in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The weak were diminished and their cultures delimited while the strong grew in power and cultural influence over the weak. Social Darwinists held that the life of humans in society was a struggle for existence, ruled by survival of the fittest, a phrase proposed by the British philosopher and scientist Herbert Spencer. Here is the Darwin's handwritten cover page for the origin of species. Now, there were some religious motives behind imperialism. To convert native people to the Christian religion. As if it was Christian duty to convince native people that their religion is wrong, so to change the beliefs of the next generation, Christian missionaries were the first explorers of Africa's interior. So extreme nationalism, industrialization, concepts of racial superiority, aggressive colonial policies supported further growth of imperialism. The result was the immense expanse of the empires of European nations like England, France, Belgium, Germany, etc. Colonialism is a part of imperialism. The act of a developed nation occupied the land of a less developed, distant nation and establishing their rule on the occupied country is known as colonialism. Countries like England, France, Portugal, Spain, etc. gradually occupied the nations in Asia and Africa and established their colonies there. India was one of the colonies of England. Consequences of imperialism. The people in Asia and Africa were economically exploited by the Europeans. The people in the colonies lost their independence. Their economic exploitation pushed them into poverty. But at the same time, we may also note some constructive things, some positive aspects that happened during the colonial period. A new awareness emerged in the political, social, economic, and educational fields. Common people became conscious of democratic systems and its inherent modern values like liberty, equality, and fraternity. They got introduced to principles like administration based on a fundamental legal system, judicial system, availability of education to all. People became aware of the need to shoulder the responsibility of solving their problems, which eventually led to the independence movements in many colonies. In this video, we have understood that imperialism and colonialism, both terms, are used interchangeably to refer to the territorial expansion of the European industrial powers, especially after 1870. The result of this expansion was the formation of large overseas empires. That's it for now. We will discuss European colonialism in detail in my next video. Thank you for watching. Please like it and don't forget to subscribe it. Thank you.